Okay, good morning everyone. We are on the bottom of Tesvav and Beis. Just a chazah, we said yesterday, complicated sugya. We said yesterday that there's a machlokas whether hasra safek is shma asra or lo shma asra. And this is very important, so we're going to spend a few minutes just going over this, and then we'll go weiter. We said there's a machlokas on how a lav hanitak laseh works. When you have a lav hanitak laseh, a lav that's followed by an aseh, and it fixes it. Don't steal, and then you give back the item. We'll see today, we'll discuss different examples. You have a lav hanitak laseh, and you fix it. So how does that work? So we said that the classic understanding is that you do a lav, you're over the lav, and then you can fix it with the aseh. The not so classic understanding, which is the understanding of Rabbi Yochanan, is that when you do the lav, you're not over the lav until you're mevatel the aseh biadayim. Again, the nafkamin is that according to the first way, which is called kiyem velo kiyem, you do the lav. Now, Beis Din says to you, well, step up or we're going to give you malchus. Either correct the lav that you just did, you're currently chayav malchus, either correct the lav, kiyem velo kayem. If you're kayem, we won't give you malchus. If you're lo kayem, if you don't do the aseh, then we're going to give you malchus. When that happens, when you go to Beis Din, it could be a day, it could be 2 days, it could be a week, whatever it is. Bitlu velo bitlu means that you're actually not chayav malchus when you do the lav. The way that HaKadosh Baruch Hu set up the Torah according to this opinion is a lav anitak laseh. You're not chayav malchus for doing the lav until you are mevatel biyadayim the aseh. And what's fascinating, and please email me after the shir if you find another one, but what's fascinating is that we're going to see in the shir today that there's only 2 examples given in the Gemara. 2 examples according to this way where you can actually be mevatel the aseh and then not be able to correct it. That means you have a lav anitak laseh, you do the lav, you can fix the aseh. You say, I can think of a million examples where you can be mevatel. No, until you're mevatel biyadayim, that there's no further potential or ability to ever correct the lav with an aseh, until you do that, you're not even chayiv the malchus. What does this have to do with hasra safek shma asra or not? The following. Hasra safek, when I warn you, and I say, don't do this lav, don't be megarish this isha that you raped. So when you go ahead and I warn you, and you're megarish her. So according to kiyem velo kiyem, we hold hasra safek, or they hold hasra safek is lo shma hasra. The reason that hasra works is because that's a straight hasra. You warn somebody, as soon as they're megarisher, they're chayav malchus. They could fix it afterwards by taking her back. Chazar, as we say, kol yamav. According to the other man diamar, you're not chayav when you divorce her. You're not chayiv until you actively annul the possibility to take her back, which we'll see today and we alluded to yesterday, by taking a neder that you're never going to get hana from her. So according to that man diamar, though, it's impossible to say that that's a regular hasra. According to that man diamar, that bitlu velo bitlu, that the way that lav anitak laseh works is that you're not over the lav until you go ahead and you're mevatel the lav biyadayim. You have to say that hasra safek is shma asra. Because let's say you are mevatel the lav. Let's say you get up and you make that neder that I'm not going to get hana from her. Now we're going to give you malchus. How can we give you malchus now? Lemaisa, at the time that you were over the lav, which is now, you were warned 6 months ago. You were warned a week ago. So it must be hasra safek when I warn you, according to that man diamar of bitlu velo bitlu, when I warn you now, don't be megarisher. Because if you're megarisher, and then you're mevatel at some point in the future, then you're mevatel the possibility to ever take her back, then and only then will you be chayav malchus. The fact that that works, and that when you are mevatel a week later, 2 weeks later, a month later, 6 months later, when you are mevatel it 5 years later, the fact that that works, and that warning that you gave before she was megarish actually works, that shows hasra safek is shma asra. Because that warning is considered to be hasra safek. Anytime you're giving a warning for something that's not right now, that's considered to be hasra safek. That's a hasra for later in the future. So kiyem velo kiyem, the hasra is for right now. You're megarish, you're chayav malchus. According to that opinion, as soon as you're megarish, you're chayav malchus. Yes, you can fix it. But according to this opinion, where you're not actually chayav the lav till later in the future, Lemaise, it must be that man diamar holds hasra safek is shma hasra. That when you give this warning for the future, that's considered to be hasra. That's an understanding. Zok the Gemara, v'azul tamayu. They both go according to their own opinion. De idmar shvua she'ochal kikar zeh hayom. I take a shvua that I will eat this thing later today. So when am I making the shvua? When am I over the shvua? I'm over the shvua she'ochal kikar zeh. When am I over the shvua? If I don't eat it today by the end of the day. So it says the Gemara, both of them agree that you're not going to get malchus if you don't eat it by the end of the day. Rabbi Yochanan Omer Eino Lokin Mishum Dahavi Lav Shem Bo Maisa V'chol Lav Shem Bo Maisa Ein Lokin Alav. Rabbi Yochanan is going to say that you're not going to get Malkus because it's a Lav Shem Bo Maisa. When I took that Shvua, that's Bidvarim and Bidvarim, you don't get Malkus for. Why does Rabbi Yochanan not say, it's a Hasra Safek? Because he holds Hasra Safek is Shema Hasra. So just Alt Hasra Safek, the fact that we're warning you now, right? I say, I take a promise, I'm going to eat this today. Edom are sitting there and saying, we're warning you right now that if you don't eat this today, by the end of the day, you're going to get Malkus. That Hasra, according to Rabbi Yochanan, works. Because Hasra Safek is Shema Hasra. Therefore, why at the end of the day, literally at the end of the day, do you get Malkus if you don't eat it? Why do you not get Malkus if you don't eat it? You don't get Malkus because you can't get Malkus for a Lav Shem B'maisa. But Al Tasra Safik, you would get Malkus. Rish Lakish Omer Eino Loker Mishum Dahavi Asra Safik V'chol Asra Safik Lo Shmei Asra. According to Rish Lakish, he actually holds that a Lav Shem B'maisa is Lokin Alav. So Al's the fact that that was a Shvua that you took with your mouth, and now at the end of the day, you don't end up eating it. Al's Lav Shem B'maisa, you should get Malkus. Why don't you get Malkus for that case? Because according to him, it's Asra Safik. Because when I warn you now that if you don't eat this by the end of the day, you're going to get Malkus, that's not a good warning. Because the warning needs to be, right now, if you're over it right now, you're going to get Malkus in 2 minutes from now. That's the nafkamina. So they both agree with the din, they just give different reasons. Says the Gemara, V'tarvaya liba de Rabbi Yehuda. They're both within Rabbi Yehuda. Now hold cup, this is difficult. Titania, Veloso sir menuad boker, Radosar menuad boker, by ish tisro, for this is a lav anitak laseh. You're not allowed to go ahead and leave over the korban until the morning, and if you do, you need to burn it. The lav is to leave it over till the morning. The asay, which fixes the lav, is if you leave it over, you burn it. So Rabbi Yehuda says that the asay fixes the los asay. Now the Gemara is going to say, what does that imply? Let's say there was no asay to fix the los asay. What would have happened if you would have left it over till morning and you didn't fix it? You would have gotten malkus. Now let's say this outside for a second. If I get malkus for that, what does that show me? First of all, that shows me, one can argue, you could be medayik from there that what? That a lav she'ein bo maisa is lokin alav. Because velosasir menu aboker, you're not doing it in maisa. You're just leaving it. You're passive, and yet you're getting malkus. One can argue the other way also, that it shows that what? That a hasra safek is shema hasra. Because if I warn you right now, don't leave this over till the morning, and we say that when you leave it over till the morning, you will get malkus, that means that hasra safek is shema hasra. So each one is going to learn from here, he's going to be medayik from here, his own thing. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan dayek hachi taima deba kasuv. The reason you don't get malkus is because a kasuv came and says you can fix it with the asay. Halabo a kasuv, had there no been, if no simon ad boker ba'esh tisrof, and it would have just been losatir menu ad boker, you would have gotten malkus. Alma hasra safek shema hasra. Therefore, Rabbi Yochanan says, you see from here that hasra safek is shema hasra. V'reish lakish dayak, and Reish Lakish says hachi taima deba kasuv. The reason is because the pasuk came. Halaba kasav loke. He doesn't make that diuk. He says in general, hasra safek is lo shma hasra. Why would you get malkus here? The Rishonim discussed that. According to Reish Lakish, what's the pshad and the havmin over here? Fine. But Reish Lakish is making a different diuk from this. He's saying the diuk that he's making is halaba kasav loke. Had you not had the asay to burn it in the morning, you would have gotten malkus. How could you get malkus for lo sativ menu ad boker? Alma lav shein b'maisa loken alav. Reish Lakish nami havadai hasra safeku. But according to Reish Lakish, Lamaisa, you see that it's Asra Safek and Asra Safek Ishma Asra. Savala Ki'idach Tana Rabbi Yehuda. He argues. He doesn't agree with this Tana. Now again, they're showing him discuss. What does it mean he doesn't agree with this Tana? He doesn't agree that this is going to work here. But Lamaisa, he says he doesn't hold like this Tana. He actually holds that Asra Safek is Lav Shma Asra. Where do you see that? Another brisa of Rabbi Yehuda. And the Gemara is going to ask in a second. Rabbi Yehuda is contradicting himself. Because Rabbi Yehuda in this brisa, again, according to Rabbi Yochanan, says Asra Safek is Shma Asra. That's why originally, had you not burned it in the morning, you would get malkus. According to Rabbi Reish Lakish, it's implying that lav shein bo ma'aseh loken alav. Says the Gemara, Reish Lakish nami havadei asra saviku savar laki idach tana Rabbi Yehuda. He holds like the other Tana of Rabbi Yehuda, who says that asra savik is not asra. Where do you see that? The Tanya, hikazeh v'chazav hikazeh kilazeh v'chazav kilazeh. You have a person who's standing here. You have two people that are sitting here. Two people are standing here, and I'm here. I don't know which one of them is my father. What does that mean? One of them was married to my mother and then divorced her. And the other one married my mother 2 months later. So now when I was born, lucky baby, what happened? I'm a safek 9 for the first one, or I'm a safek 7 for the second one, 7 months. So I don't know which one's my father. So now when you warn me, don't hit him, and I hit him, what's that? That's a hasra safek. Don't hit him in case he's your father. This is a different type of Asra Safek. The other one was don't do it right now. It might be later that you'll do it. This is a different type of Asra Safek. This is not dependent on time. This is Asra Safek dependent on the person. Don't hit him because he might be your father. If I go ahead and hit him and we give me Malkus, clearly we're giving me Malkus for Asra Safek. Now, obviously, nobody's going to say if you only hit one of them, you're going to get Malkus. But according to this, we were warned individually. Don't hit him and I hit him. Don't hit him and I hit him. Memanashach, one of them was my father. Says the Gemara, or if I hit one of them together with one warning, or kilo shneim bebas achas, I'm chayav. Rabbi Yehuda omer bebas achas chayav b'zeachar zeh pater. So according to the first man d'amar, everybody agrees that if it's one warning, don't hit either one of them, and then I hit them both at the same time, for sure I get malchus, because memanashach, one of them is my father. But if I say don't hit him, and I hit him, and then I say don't hit him, and I hit him, according to the first man number, I'll still get malchus, because asra safek is shma asra. Both of them were hasra safek, that may be your father, may not be your father, but at the end of the day, since I hit both of them, even the first man number would agree that if it's only warned about one of them and I hit him, I'm not going to get malchus, because it might be the other one. But if I'm warned about him, and then I'm warned about him, separately, and I hit each one separately, I hit my father, but you have to say asra safek is shma asra. According to Rabbi Yehuda, if I'm warned separately, don't hit him and I hit him, and then don't hit him and I hit him, yes, Mimanashach, I hit my father, but when I got the hasra, each hasra was a hasra safek. Therefore, Rabbi Yehuda will only agree that when you're warned with one warning, don't hit either one of them, and I go hit both of them at the same time, then I will get. But you see, according to Rabbi Yehuda here, that hasra safek is lo shma hasra.
DNA testing?
That I don't know. For Rabbi Yochanan, nami havadei lav shema maisehu, and now the other way. Rabbi Yochanan, I understand, Rabbi Reish Lakish's diuk from Lo Satir Men Ad Boker is a good diuk. Seems to imply that you would get malchus for leaving it overnight. That seems to imply lav shem b'maisa is loken alav, which Rabbi Yochanan doesn't seem to hold. Savar laki hadam Ravidi Baravin Amar Vamar Amar Yitzchak Amar Rabbi Yochanan Rabbi Yehuda Omer Mishmo Rabbi Yossi Aglili. He says Lemaisa, it's a lav shem b'maisa. Kola lo tzasei b'Torah. Lav sheyesh b'maisa loken alav. Lav she'ein b'maisa ein loken alav. Chutz min anishba u'meimer v'makalas chaver b'shem. There's a few exceptions, but in general you see here that a lav she'ein b'maisa is ein loken alav, exactly like he says. What are the exceptions to lav she'ein b'maisa ein loken alav? If you swear falsely, a meimar, which is temura. If you go ahead, again, the first one and the third one are lav she'ein b'maisas, and yet you'll get malchus for them. Meimar is if you go ahead and you substitute, which also can be without a maisa. You substitute in your mind a consecrated animal for a non-consecrated animal. And makalas chaver b'shem is if you curse your chaver with the Shem Hashem. But those three are the only lav shem b'maisas that you're loken alav. But in general, you see a lav shem b'maisas ain't loken alav. So now we have the first brisa with Rabbi Yehuda, which each one makes their own diuk from. Rabbi Yochanan makes a diuk that you see from there hasra savik ishma asra. Then you have a diuk from Reish Lakish that says lav shem b'maisa loken alav. Then we say, though, that each one has a support in a different brisa. The first brisa seems to support Reish Lakish, where Rabbi Yehuda seems to say B'zeachar zeh pater, because Asra Savik is lo shma asra. And this third brisa seems to support Rabbi Yochanan, which seems to say that alav she'ein bo ma'isa is ein loken alav. Rabbi Yehuda contradicts himself now, because now you have Rabbi Yehuda contradicting himself. Number one, the first brisa contradicts the second brisa, and the first brisa contradicts the third brisa. Says the Gemara, it's not a problem. Kasha Rabbi Yehuda to Rabbi Yehuda. Either Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish trei Tanai aliba to Rabbi Yehuda. Either it's two different Tanaim quoting what they thought Rabbi Yehuda says, and I always say this, that they were either sitting in shir and they misunderstood. One of them misunderstood what Rabbi Yehuda was saying, or he wasn't clear, or Lemaisa, they were learning from each other in different Batei Midrashim. What do you say? He went to the washroom, yes. Rabbi Yochanan lo kasha hadidei hadarabi. But according to Rabbi Yochanan, it's not a kasha, not it's trei Tanai. But you see clearly it says what? Mishum Rabbi Yossi Aglili. That it wasn't just Rabbi Yehuda, but it was Rabbi Yehuda Mishum Rabbi Yossi Aglili. But again, for our purposes right now, we haven't established anything. In the sense we haven't paskin halacha l'maaseh, but we've established that there's two ways to look at the lav shenitak laseh. Either kiyem velo kiyem, which means that hasra savik is lo shma hasra, which finds support in a brisa of Rabbi Yehuda, or you could say hasra savik is shma hasra, which would be bito velo bito, which also finds support in a different brisa of Rabbi Yehuda.
Going back to Mosor, is he not chayiv to chatzos? Basically, because he's on morning.
I don't know exactly. Ad boker, ad boker, no, ad boker, you're chayav malchus. As soon as the sun comes up, you're chayav malchus. But again, you can fix it by burning it.
No, I'm talking about the burning.
You can burn it the entire day. It sounds like. Sounds like you can burn it. No, it says ad boker, ad boker by eish tisofu. Again, if you say bito velo bitlu, you can burn it the rest of your life. If you say kiyem velo kiyem, you could burn it until Bezin comes ahead and says, either burn it now or we're going to give you malchus. So manushach. What?
Adaboker
Adaboker is Boker Sheni. But the point is that even if you wait till Boker Sheni, you're not going to get the Malkus till Beis Din says to you, do it now. So if they don't go bring you to Beis Din until a week later, you could still do it then. As long as you do it before Beis Din goes ahead and gives you Malkus. Zok the Gemara, Tanan Hasam. Now we're going to go in and we're going to bring another case. Hanotel Eim Alabanim. The pasuk says, Lo tikacha Eim Alabanim, Shaleach tishalach esaim ve'esabanim tikach lach. So what is that? That's a lav, Lo tikacha Eim Alabanim, and then it says Shaleach tishalach. Now that seems to imply that you shouldn't take the mother away, and if you take the mother away, you could fix it by sending the mother bird away. Says the Gemara, Hanotel Eim Alabanim, Rabbi Yehuda Omer Loke. You get Malkus. Why would you get Malkus? Seems to be a lav and nitak laseh. So Rashi explains that when it says it doesn't really mean what it says. It really means to say shaleach teshalach esaim. First, do the aseh, send away the mother, because there's an isra of lo tikach eim al abanim. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's not a lav and nitak laseh. It's an aseh shekid mulav, which we said you'll get Malkus for. Which seems to be the way that we paskin. Mishaleach ve'eno loke. No, it says exactly like it says. It's also to take the mother while the kids are there. If you take the mother, you're over the lav. However, Shaleach Tishalach Esaim says that if you send the mother bird away, you can fix it and not get Malkus. Obviously, the Chachamim will agree that if you don't send the mother bird away, then you will get Malkus. Says the Gemara, Zeh HaKlal. So, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Again, Rabbi Yochanan is the one who said Bito v'lo Bito. If you say Kiyem v'lo Kiyem, that again, when you do a lav, and then it's nitak laseh, so you can think of every single aseh basically, every single lav can be a case where you can actually be mevatel the lav and nitak laseh, in the sense that if I do a lav and I can fix it with an aseh. So Beis Din says right now, do the aseh or else I'm going to give you Malkus. So we can think about almost every single lav you can end up getting Malkus for, because even if it's a lav and nitak laseh, if you don't do the aseh, you're going to get Malkus if Beis Din tells you to do the aseh. But according to bitlu v'lo bitlu, the Gemara is going to say something fascinating now. Before we see the Gemara, I would have said that bitlu v'lo bitlu, what? 50%? 80%? What percentage of lavin that are nitak laseh would you say that you could actually be mevatel b'yadayim? I would have thought a high percentage. That means even according to Rabbi Yochanan, who says, again, according to Kiyem v'lo Kiyem, you can be mevatel the aseh every single time. Any single time Beis Din says, do the aseh, we're going to give you Malkus. You don't do the aseh, you get Malkus. But according to Rabbi Yochanan, he said again, you're only over the lav, which is nitak laseh, when you're mevatel the aseh. So I would have said to myself, I don't know how many lav and nitak lasehs there are in the Torah, but let's say there's 20. I would have said that at least 18, or at least 15, or at least 10, according to Rabbi Yochanan, we could think of a way that you could be mevatel the aseh b'yadayim. Comes on Rabbi Yochanan and says there's only 2 cases. And if you find any more, email me, please. There's only 2 cases in the entire Torah where it's a lav hanitak laseh that you can actually be mevatel the aseh to the point that you're going to get the Malkus. Every other case we would say you can't be mevatel the aseh and you're never going to get Malkus for lav hanitak laseh. What's that? First case is shiluach hakein. How are you going to be mevatel the aseh? You send away, you take the mother. Now, how do you be mevatel the aseh? If you kill the mother. As soon as you kill that mother, you've been mevatel the possibility to fix the lav of taking the mother, and now it's gone. So I would think you'd be able to do that for every single case. We'll see in a second, it's not so pashut. Says, what?
What if the bird never comes back?
No, again, so we didn't say this yesterday. Good question. When we talk about being mevatel the aseh, as we'll see from the Gemara, it's clear today from the Gemara in just a minute, that mevatel the aseh b'yadayim, according to Rabbi Yochanan, means you yourself was mevatel. Therefore, for instance, if you rape a girl, and then you divorce her, and then she drops dead the next day, you were not mevatel the aseh. You're not going to get Malkus for sending her away, because you had to be mevatel. Only when you're madir not to get hana from her, you mevatel it b'yadayim yourself, then you're being mevatel it. But if it happens without you being mevatel, it's not a problem. So it says in Gemara, Ein lanu ela zos v'yod acheres. It's this and one other one where you can be mevatel. So again, shulach hakein, clearly you can be mevatel. You take the mother, and then you're over the isser, and then when you kill the mother now, l'maisi you mevatel the aseh, and according to Rabbi Yochanan, you will be chayav Malkus. Says the Gemara, Amalei Rabbi Lazar Hecha, what's the other one? Amalei l'chi tishkach, go look. Nafak dach ve'eshkach. He went and he found it. Titania, ones. Ones shagiresh, im Yisrael u'machsivin alokavim kohen u'lokavin amachsir, hanil chalaman detani kimu v'li kimu, elaman detani bitlu v'la bitlu. Again, it's always going to be okay according to kimu v'lo kimu. You could always find a case where you're going to be able to get the Malkus, because at the end of the day, when Beis Din says take her back or else you get Malkus, you're going to get Malkus if you don't take her back. But bitlu v'lo bitlu, how do you go ahead and set up a case where by ones, you're going to go ahead and you're going to get the Malkus? Well, you'll say, well, you just kill her. Well, if you kill her, you're not getting Malkus, because what are you getting? the death penalty. If you say the way that you're going to be mevatel the lo saseh of sending her away is by killing her, you got bigger problems than getting malchus. Now you're going to get killed. You took kiddushin from her from somebody else. You married her off to somebody else. When you marry her off to somebody else, you're mevatel the possibility for you to be able to marry her again, and therefore you go ahead and now you're going to get the malchus for sending her away. Says Gemara, that doesn't make sense. Amarav, what's the case here? What do you mean you married her to somebody else? Ishvi say shaliach, if she made you into shaliach to accept kiddushin on behalf of her from somebody else, that's not you being mevatel biyadayim. You're just acting like the shliach, like anybody could act as her shliach. And if she didn't send you up as a shliach, I can't go today and marry off the girl down the block without her knowing about it. So if I did that, it wouldn't be anything. It wouldn't be a marriage. So what do you mean that you can be mevatel biyadayim, the person that you raped and that you sent away and you were megarish? Ela Rav Simi min harda yon shehidira barabim. You took a neder barabim that you'll never get hana from her. But that's only according to Manda Amar who says that if you take a neder in public, you can never annul it. But there's another Manda Amar who says even a neder in public you can annul. Says the Gemara, al das rabim. There's a difference between taking a neder in public and taking a neder al das rabim, which basically means with the consensus, sort of the three of you become like part of the neder kiviyachol. That's a higher level. Al das rabim. So those are the two cases. Now it comes out that again, the only two cases of asay, of a lava nitag asay that you could actually within Rabbi Yochanan be mevatel biyadayim is the bird by killing it, or the ones by going ahead and saying in public al das rabin that you're not going to get any hana from her. V'sulaka. 1 second, hold your horses. V'sulaka v'ha'ika gezel. Gezel, what happens? You didn't learn this yet, right? Good. Okay. Derachmana Amar, right, you remember from 7.5 years ago. Derachmana Amar lo sigzol, don't steal. V'heshav etzak. So what happens? What do you mean? You can be mevatel biyadayim. Steal. Now you have an asay to give it back, but now destroy it in between. You mevatel the asay. Mashkon, if there's a mashkon, if somebody's holding a collateral, Derachmana Amar lo tovo beisol avod avoto. You're not allowed to take the mashkon away from him. And it says if you do take the mashkon away, hashev tashiv lo avod kivo hashemesh. The Rishonim point out it's not really a good deal because that pasuk of hashev tashiv lo is not talking about when you steal the mashkon from him. That's talking about every single night he's supposed to give you back the mashkon to use, and then you give it back to him in the morning. So at the end of the day, but the Gemara is learning it that it's not only talking about that, it's talking about also when you steal from him, if you steal the mashkon from somebody, there's an asay to give it back to him. So why in those two cases, umashkachas la bekimu v'lo kimu, ubidlu v'lo bidlu? What do you mean? It's only these two cases of shiluach hakein and the case of onus. These cases, you steal something and you destroy it, Lamaisa, you mevatel it, and you should get malchus for the stealing. Says Gemara, not so quick. Hasam kevan dechaya b'tashlumin ein lokio mashalim. As Tosfos explains that when you go ahead and you break that item that you stole, so you might think that what? Now I get the malchus because I stole and I was mevatel biyadayim. No, because at the moment that you break it and you're mevatel biyadayim, the asay, you're also chayav tashlumin for that. You weren't chayav tashlumin until you actually broke it, because until you broke it, you were able to give it back and not be chayav tashlumin. One can argue maybe be chayav dalid v'hei, fine, but at the end of the day, you're not going to be chayav tashlumin until you break it. Now, when you break it, the chayav tashlumin kicks in. The chayav tashlumin is kicking in at the same exact moment that what? That the chayav malchus is kicking in, because you only chayav malchus according to Rabbi Yochanan once you were mevatel the ability to give it back. If the chayav malchus and the chayav tashlumin kick in at the same exact time, we have a din that says that hasam kevan dechayv tashlumin ein lokim mishalim. There's a din that when you have malchus and mishalim, you only do the mishalim and not the malchus. And therefore, since the chayav malchus and the tashlumin come at the same time, you will not get malchus in the case of gezel, and therefore einochanami, it's not in the category of bidlu v'lo bidlu, because there is no possibility of getting malchus in the case of gezel.
Why can't you say the malchus kicked in with a frail? I don't understand.
The Gemara is saying it doesn't, because that's exactly because it doesn't, because it's not the way that he learns. We just said that according to Rabbi Yochanan, bidlu v'lo bidlu works. You're not chayav the lav until you go ahead and you're mevatel yasei biyadayim. According to the other man, but that's kimu v'lo kimu. At that point, you'll get the malchus even before you break the gzela. You get the malchus as soon as Beis Din says give it back, or else we're giving you the loka. But over here, according to Rabbi Yochanan, you're not chayav the malchus until you're mevatel biyadayim, which happens right now. Maskelo Rabbi Zera ha'ika mashkono shel ger v'meis hager. ger. What happens if you take a mashkon, or let's say you steal from a ger, and then the ger dies, and then you break the item? Now you have nobody that you're chayiv the tashlumin to, because by a ger he has no relatives. Says the Gemara, hasam gavra bar tashluminu v'shibuda de geru de kapaka. No, you still won't get malchus because you're still chayiv tashlumin when you break it. The metzius is you have nobody to pay the tashlumin to because the ger doesn't have any family. But lamaisa, there's a chiyuv tashlumin to nobody. But the chiyuv tashlumin to nobody will still push off the malchus. Says the Gemara, v'ha'ika peya. There's also a case of peya. Derachman amar lo techal lepeas la'ni v'lager tazov osam. You can't go ahead and cut off the corner of your food. Leket shechan peya. Peya means you can't cut off the corner of your field. What happens if you cut off the corner of your field? Seemingly, you have to what? You still have to give it to the ani. There's a mitzvah that say to give it to the ani. What happens if you cut off the corner of your food and then you destroy it? Then seemingly you were mevatel it biyadayim. Says the Gemara, "Demeshkach savikimu v'lo kimu bitlu v'lo bitlu ditnan mitzvahs pei alahafish min hakama." The real mitzvah is to leave your field standing. Lo ifish min hakama mafresh min haomer. If you don't take it when it's standing and you actually gather in the sheaves, there's still a mitzvah to leave some for the aniyim from the sheaves. Lo ifish min haomer mafresh min hakriyat shelo meirach. If you don't go ahead and separate it before you start taking out the grains and you put it on the threshing floor, you still have a mitzvah to take from the things on the threshing floor before you smooth it out. Once you smooth it out, what happens? We know that it's chayiv and shumas and maisers. Meirarchu, once you smooth it out, maiser and osilo, you still chayiv to give payah, but first you take off maiser so that the guy doesn't lose from his payah, so that he doesn't have to take off maiser from the payah. But what do you see here? The Gemara stops here. What's the next step after meirarchu? What's the next step? You grind it up. The Gemara doesn't say that if you grind it up, you have to give payah. So that seems to imply that once you grind it up into flour, you'll no longer be chayiv payah. And that seems to imply that there's a way to what? That implies that what? That implies that when you grind into flour, you're being mevatel, the mitzvah of payah, and therefore, even bidlu v'lo bidlu, once you grind it up into flour, you'll be chayav malchus for not leaving payah. Says the Gemara, so that's our question. So why is this not included in the count? Says the Gemara, because he holds like Rabbi Yishmael, the Amar af mafresh mina isa. Because he would hold like Rabbi Yishmael, who says that even if you take the flour and make it into dough, you can still go ahead and separate the payah from the dough. What's the only problem? What's the next question in the Gemara? What happens when you eat the isa? Once you eat the isa, you can no longer give payah. That's too late. Says Gemara, Rabbi Yishmael, nami mishkachasa de'achal isa. Says Gemara, you're right. Elazos ve'od acheres aha. You're right. When Rabbi Yochanan says that there's only two mitzvahs, which are lava nita glases, which you could be mevatel biyadayim, shiluach hakein, if you go ahead and you kill the mother bird, and payah, if you go ahead and grind it up and make it into dough even, and then eat the dough, then it's too late to give payah. As soon as you eat the dough, you're chayav malchus. What happened to ones? Aval ones lo. Why? Because we said that the way that you do it by ones is that you take a shvua in public, al das rabim, which is not just in public, but with their consensus, and then it doesn't have afara. That's only ledavar rishus. Aval ledavar mitzvah yesh afara. But no matter what, even if you take a neder in public, l'maiseh could be still be made. So unfortunately for this guy, sorry to say, there's no way out of it. No matter what he does, he can never be mevatel the asay. And therefore, according to him, but it's interesting because at the flip side, there's no way out of it. But at the flip side, he'll never get malchus because there's no possible way to go ahead. And it's fascinating. It means it comes out l'maiseh that there's only two lava nita glases within Rabbi Yochanan that you're going to get malchus for. Shluach hakein and payah. Every other one, it's impossible to be mevatel biyadayim. Either you won't be able to ever be mevatel biyadayim, or if you do, you'll be chayiv another thing, punishment, tashlum, kimle b'derabim, you'll never get malchus. Says in Gemara, I'm not commenting on the following. There was a teacher that was hitting the children. Adre Ravacha. So Ravacha made him take a shvua, al das rabim, that he would never teach again. V'hadri Ravina. And Ravina said, Ravina said, there's no better teacher than him, so if he's hitting the kids, it's okay, and he put him back. But what do you see? It was for the davar mitzvah to teach kids, and yet, even though it was made al das rabim, he still returned him because for a davar mitzvah, even a al das rabim can be meifir. So the Gemara. If you eat salad, you may want to leave now. Amar Rav Yehuda, Haiman de achal beinisa de bei karba malkina le mishum sheretz hashoretz ala aretz. If you eat the beinisa of bei karba, it's a type of little animal, a sheretz, then you get malchus. Ahuda achal beinisa de bei karba v'nagdi Rav Yehuda. And you see the Rav Yehuda gave malchus. Now, just to give a little bit of an overview quickly, there's two lavim in the Torah not to eat a sheretz, which is a creepy crawling creature. That's two. Any sheretz you eat. Now, there are different types of sheretzes. There are sheretzes that crawl on the ground. There are sheretzes that fly, and there are sheretzes that swim in the ocean. So if you eat any sheretz, any one of those 3 types of shratzim, you're automatically chayiv the 2 lavin for any sheretz. If you eat a sheretz of the mayim, there's an additional 2 lavim in the Torah for sheretz of mayim, so a total of 4 if you eat a sheretz of mayim. If you eat a sheretz on the aretz, there's additional 3, so it's a total of 5. Again, if you eat a sheretz that crawls and you eat it in your salad, that's 5 lavim. If you eat a sheretz ha'of, something that flies, then it's the 2 plus additional 1, it's 3. So it'll either be 4, 5, or 3. Mayim, eretz, of. Says the Gemara, Amar Abaye, achal putita, that was a type of sheretz which was in the water, loke arba. 2 for sheretz, 2 for water. Nimala, which is an ant, loke chamesh, mishum sheretz sheretz aretz. 2 for sheretz and 3 for sheretz aretz. Tzira is a hornet, loke sheish, mishum sheretz ha'of, because that one also crawls. So it's 2 for sheretz, 3 for sheretz ha'aretz, and 1 for sheretz ha'of. Amar avachai hamashes nekavav over mishum lo teshaksu. This pasuk of lo teshaksu is navshechem bechol ha'sheretz ha'sheretz ha'aretz. We also learn not to be disgusting. If you hold in when you have to go to the bathroom, you're over an Isser Deraisa. Amar Abibi Barbai, Haiman Deshasi Bekarna de Umna, Ka'avar Mishum Lot Shaksu. Another disgusting thing is we have people that used to bloodlet a lot, so they would put it into these tubes. They still put it into tubes. If you take a tube that was used for bloodletting, even when they spilled out the blood, there was a little bit left. You were very thirsty, you couldn't find a cup, so you used that as a cup. Not a good thing. Lot Shaksu. Amar Rava Bar Rafuna. Resake Tishan Abal. I'm not going to talk about halacha l'maisa, but this is where it comes in halacha l'maisa. If you go out and you grind up 9 ants, let's just say this aside for 1 second. We know that there's 2 different types of things when you're eating shratzim or anything. Really, you can have if you're eating ground up shratzim, you have to eat a kazayas of nevela. Now, the Rishonim discuss why is this called nevela. Nevela, the classic understanding of nevela is when something dies by itself without shchita, not when you shechta. But the Gemara is assuming that this is nevela too. So there's 2 isurim, possible isurim here. Either you're going to eat a kazayas of nevela, which is all crushed up, or you eat something that's whole, which is called a beria, which is even smaller than a kazayis. Now, just to put things into perspective, to find a beria that's a kazayis is quite large. If you find an ant that's a kazayis, that's going to be the biggest ant you've ever seen in your life.
A beetle.
A beetle is not a kazayis. A beetle is a kazayis is like
Beetles are kazayis.
okay, fine, giant cockroach or something like that. But it's not going to be It's not going to be something very, very tempting. So either if you eat the beria, which means if you eat a tiny bug in your salad which is whole, then even though it's much smaller than a kazayis, you're over not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 malchus according to this. It's a lot of malchus. Or if you go ahead and they're all ground up, then you're not chayiv until you eat a kazayis. And again, not halacha l'maisa, not halacha l'maisa, but there is discussion about like taking strawberries that aren't washed, putting them into a blender. But again, assuming you have less than a kazayis, you'd be okay. I'm assuming that I never looked into it, but if you have more than a kazayis, it sounds like it'd be a problem. But again, you not have more than a kazayis on the strawberries. And if you do, then you're buying the wrong strawberries. But that's the point. So it's either less than a kazayis. Not everybody agrees to the fact that you can lechatchila go ahead and blend it, but there are plenty who say. But l'maisa, either you have a kazayis or you have a beria. So the Gemara here says you have 9 nemalim, which you ground up. So now you had 9 amalim, which together equaled 0.9 of a kazayas. Now you took 1 beria, which was 0.1 of a kazayas, and you ate them all together. So you're going to be loke vav. Hey mishum beria, 5 for the namal that was a beria, and 1 mishum ve'echa mishum kazayas nevela, because that 1 at the end of the day, you're ready rechay for beria, but when you swallowed it right here in your stomach, you have a kazayas of nevela when that one went down with the other 9 that were already ground up. So you're going to be chayiv 6. Rav Amar Yochanan says afilu shnayim vehu. Even if you have 2, it's not a din in 9 nemalim. Even if you have 2 bigger ants that add up to 0.9 and then the beria. Rav Yosef Amar afilu echad vehu. And the Rishonim say, why do you need both of these? One of them I understand because he's saying not just 9, but Rishonim discuss why do you have to have the example of 2 or 1, or even if you have a big one that's 0.9 of a kazayas vehu and then the beria which adds up to a kazayas lo pligi, and they're not arguing habarav vi habazutri. It's just saying whatever it is, whether they're small ants or big ants, whatever they are. The 0.9 you will not get malchus for as soon as you mix it and you haven't. So it basically comes out a kazayas of ground up stuff will be a problem, and a beria, even the smallest amount, will be a problem. And again, that's the whole discussion of little bugs in your salad, and that was the whole discussion in New York of those little tiny things that were in the water in New York, the cocoa pods, whatever. I thought it was Cocoa Puffs, but Cocoa Pods. Lamaisa, that was the problem because they were the little tiny things. And that's why, already 15 years ago, I stopped drinking the water in New York City. I always, you put a filter on.
They haven't fixed that still?
They never fixed it. Nothing to fix. It's still in there. It's in the water.
It has to do with
New York City, whatever. Without getting into it, New York City happens to be one of the cleanest waters in the entire country. It's just that these little things. So these little things don't bother the health department because they're microscopic. But according to halacha, there's a whole discussion. Are those considered to be even a barrier? According to many poskim, they're not even a barrier because they're tiny little things that are microscopic. It's not even a barrier. But if you hold that it's a barrier, then lemaisa, if you use a filter, supposedly it keeps it out, but that's another discussion. And again, not necessarily boiling it would make a difference either. A whole discussion. Fine.
We don't have that here.
You don't have that here, as far as I know, or they haven't found that here yet. Achal tevel lemaisa rishon, amarav. They can't fix it. I don't think there's anything to fix. I think it's just the mitzius. And according to the health department, there's nothing wrong with it. Achal tevel lemaisa rishon. If you tevel lemaisa rishon, you get malchus. Amarav. Achal tevel shemaisel ani loken. Now we know that in the totem pole, there's truma, there's meiser rishon, meiser sheni, and then there's meiser ani, like on the bottom of the totem pole, let's say. So the question is, we know that if you have tevel that you didn't take off stuff from, you're going to get whatever the punishment is, malchus. If you take off truma, if you eat truma, you get death, whatever, fine. But if you eat that stuff, but if you don't take it off, if you eat food that hasn't been taken off, you get malchus. Says the Gemara, what happens if you took off everything except for meiser ani? Maybe we're going to be a little bit makil because meiser ani is not so chashuv, new. So achal tevel shel meiser ani loke. Even if it's taken off everything, truma, meiser rishon, everything, meiser sheni, everything was taken off except for meiser ani, you still get malchus. That's according to Rav. Kiman, who's that like? Yatana detanya Rabbi Yossi achal lo yechai velala tevel shel hura menu kolikar. You might think you're only chayav malchus if you don't take off anything, but if you take off truma, you're good to go. If you take off meiser, good to go. Hura menu truma gedol, hura menu meiser rishon lo meiser sheni, vafilu meiser ani minayin. How do you know that even if you take off everything but meiser ani, you're going to get malchus? Because it talks about tevel. It says you can't eat it bisharecha. And then when it talks about meiser ani, it says v'achlu bisharecha v'saveyu, that the aniyim should eat it bisharecha. So what do you see? The word sharecha appears both by eating tevel and by eating meiser ani. Malhal meiser ani, just like sharecha there means meiser ani. Afkan meiser ani v'rachmana lo tuchal. Therefore, when it says that you can't eat it, the tevel, that means bisharecha, that makes exeret shava, that you can't eat it even if the only thing that hasn't been taken off is meiser ani. Amar Rav Yosef, and we'll end with this. Rav Yosef says, kitanai. This idea about whether you have to take off meiser ani, whether it's considered to be tevel when you take off meiser ani or not, or hasn't taken off meiser ani, is a machlokes tanaim. Again, Rav says, Rabbi Yossi says, you don't take off meiser ani, you took off everything else, it's still tevel. Amar Rav Yosef kitanai. We have the case of demai. What's demai? I just want to read one Rashi, and then we'll end. Rashi, ein sarich likros as Hashem. Yochanan Kohen Gadol shalach b'chol gvul Yisrael. This is the bottom Rashi. V'ra'es amei haaretz chashudin ala meisus chutz mitruma gedola. Yochanan Kohen Gadol saw that amei haaretz, the only thing that they knew was to take off truma gedola. They didn't take off any other meisos. Amar lahen Yisrael. So he said to Yisrael, b'ni kishem she'at truma b'misa kacha tevel b'misa. Just like truma, you get misa for tevel, you get misa for as well. When you separate truma and you eat it, you get misa. But if you don't separate anything, you get misa as well. Amar v'tikin. So he said the following: halokeach me'am haaretz. Yafrish kol ha-meiser. So when you take from an am haaretz, dimai, you don't know what the status is of food from an am haaretz, you have to take off all of the meisers. The bottom Rashi. Ume'akvan l'atma, you could keep it to yourself. Again, truma you don't have to take off. We assume that they take off truma. All the meiser you have to take off. Why can you keep it to yourself? What's that based on? Which rule? You need to take it off because you might not have taken off, but the Kohen can't say give it to me, the Levi can't say give it to me, the Ani can't say give it to me because you need to prove to me that it wasn't taken off. I'm taking it off al safek. So when I take it off mitzat safek, the meiser rishon I can eat because the zar is allowed to eat meiser rishon. Meiser sheni I have to bring to Yerushalayim. But now if it's a shnas meiser ani, again, and I bought food from a ama aretz, what's the status of meiser ani? Do I need to take it off, or do I need to take it, or do I not need to take it off? Nechleku Rabbi Elazar v'chachamim v'kam Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer says, "Delo mi for by frushe misavik lilo tzarich." Outside for a second, we know that there's two ways to take off meiser and truma. Either you could literally take it off physically, or it works even sometimes to say b'shem, likro b'shem, but say this corner is truma, I'll take it off later, but for now this corner is truma. So Rabbi Eliezer says not only do you not have to take it off, elafilu likro tzalav es Hashem, v'lomer meiser ani shel krize yebetzona bedromo nami lo tzarech. So Rabbi Eliezer says you don't have to take off meiser ani at all from demai. What does that seem to imply? What does that imply? Again, you have this produce that's besafek whether meiser ani has been taken off or not. He says you don't have to take off meiser ani. What does that imply?
You can eat it?
That implies, not only, of course you could eat it. That implies, though, that if you have food that you know for sure meiser ani was not taken off of,
You can eat it.
you can eat it. You're supposed to take off Meiser Ani, but if you don't take off Meiser Ani from food that you know Meiser Ani wasn't taken off of, you can still eat it, because if you couldn't eat it, or if you would get Malkus for eating it, then Bisafek, I would make you take it off. The fact that Bisafek, when it's Demai, I don't make you take off the Meiser Ani, shows that even in the worst case scenario where I know that Meiser Ani hasn't been taken off, even in that case, I'm not going to get Malkus for eating it. Says Chachamim, v'chamim Koreas Hashem ve'eno tzarich lifrosh. Chachamim say you don't have to actually take it off, but you still have to be Koreas Hashem. Why? Because seemingly they would hold that if you know for sure that Meiser Ani wasn't taken off, you need to take off Meiser Ani, and if you don't, you're going to get Malkus, which is what this Brisa is saying over here. Amarav Ochal Tevel Shal Meiser Ani Loke. Chachamim is going to be going like this Brisa, and therefore when you're Besafek, you need to take off Besafek, because if we knew for sure Lamaisa, you would get Malkus. Says the Gemara, if that's true, Maila Ba Gemifli Demar Savar Vade Tovlo Mar Savar. So like I said, that implies that Rabbi Eliezer says that when you know for sure Meiser Ani wasn't taken off, yes, there's a mitzvah to take off Meiser Ani, but if you don't, you will not get Malkus. And the other man, Diamar, says that no, Vadai Eino Tovlo. The other one says that no, sorry, Vadai Tovlo. The other one would say that if you know for sure that Meiser Ani was not taken off, you will get Malkus. Amalei Abaye says if that's so, and that's what Rabbi Eliezer and Chachamim are arguing about, so why are they arguing about by Demai? Why don't they just argue what happens if you eat food that Meiser Ani wasn't taken off of? L'maisa, according to Rabbi Eliezer, you will not get Malkus, and according to Chamim, you will get Malkus. I hachi ademifliye besveiko liflaku bevadai. Says Gemara, you're right. Ela dekuli amai vadai tovlo. You're right. Even according to Rabbi Eliezer, if you have food that you know Meiser Ani was not taken off of, he'll agree with that brisa. So again, who's a brisa like? It's like everybody. Everybody agrees that if you have food that you know for sure Meiser Ani was not taken off of, you will get Malkus if you eat it. So why over here then, if you're going to get Malkus when for sure Meiser Ani wasn't taken off, why over here does Rabbi Eliezer, we have to explain Rabbi Eliezer now. Why does Rabbi Eliezer hold that when you're not sure whether it was taken off, you don't need to take off Meiser Ani? You would think that Pesavik you should take it off. V'hachaba kamiflagi. Mar savar lo nechshedu amei aretz al Meiser Ani shel demai dekevan demamonu afrushe mafresh. Rabbi Eliezer says you don't have to take it off because Lamaisa you can assume that the Amaretz will take it off because he'll take it off and then he'll just keep it for himself. He's an Amaretz, so he's going to keep it for himself and say I'm really an Ani. So he'll take it off, so you don't have to be worried he's not going to take it off. When he has nothing to lose, he'll take it off. Therefore, he took it off and he has nothing to lose. V'Rabbanan Savri, no. Kevan de tircha le milsa lo mafresh. Even though Lamaisa could keep it for himself, it's still annoying to have to take it off. So Lamaisa, we're worried that he's not going to take it off because he's an Amaretz, he doesn't care so much. Since we're worried he's not going to take it off, and since everybody agrees that an Ani, if you have Meiser Ani that wasn't taken off, it's going to be Tevel. Lamaisa, the Rabbanan say when it's Bestafik, you need to take off. Rabbi Eliezer is going to say, yes, I agree that when you know for sure it wasn't taken off, it's Tevel. But Lamaisa over here, I'm not worried that an Amaretz is not going to take it off because he has nothing to lose anyway, because he's just going to take it off and he'll keep it anyway. Okay, have a good week. See you next week. Mir Tashem.